Okay, so I'm here with Peter Lavelle from RT. We are in the studio here in RT in Moscow, which is pretty impressive. So Peter, the whole purpose of this I've never been to Russia before, and I've been told for decades that this is the big, scary, whatever, Soviet bear. You've been living here for 21 years. Yeah. Tell me your perception, what you've seen over the last 20 years versus what the American media, especially in the last 3 years, has been telling its citizens.
Well, when I came here, I was quite Russophobic, I have to admit, because I've been living in Poland for a number of years, which is a very Russophobic country and political culture. And I came here, to be honest with you, just to make a lot of money, because I was in investment banking at the time, and I didn't make a lot of money, but I made some. And when the financial crisis came in 1998, I thought, well, you know, this country is far more complex than I thought it was before I came here. And it was a very interesting experience. There's a word in Russian, it's called baradak, which means chaos and nonsense. And there was a lot going on, and as a former historian of Eastern Europe and Russia, I thought this is very interesting to observe. And actually, I started writing about Russia. I used to write long emails about my experience here, because it was so contrary to what I had expected. And then when I left investment banking, I went into journalism, print journalism, and wrote for a number of outlets. And I really did stand out because I had a very different point of view. And plus, my point of view was to compare Eastern Europe to Russia, not Russia to the United States, not Russia to the UK. And so I had a different nuanced experience. And I have to say, and I think the statistics, and you can check the CIA annual yearbook, and you can check the United Nations, OSCE, everybody else. I mean, the stats over the last 20 years for Russia's economy have just been staggering in comparison to what happened in the 1990s. So people always ask me, what do you think of Putin? And I always answer, well, it doesn't matter what I think, it's what the Russian people think. And the Russian people over the last 20 years, and you know, we had the financial crisis of 1998, we had the global recession in 2008, and still things keep moving on. So just about every stereotype you can imagine about Russia has been busted and destroyed and buried in the time that I've lived here. Having said that, there are plenty of problems here like any other place in the world. But there is no cult of personality, there is no dominant ideology being perpetrated by the media. Russians just want to live well and do well for themselves, for their children, their friends, their community. They like to travel, they like to be consumers. Politics is almost never thought about or even talked about, because they associate that with the 1990s. They associate that with chaos. And that's what politics means to them. They want stability. They have a president that is duly elected under the Constitution. He's genuinely, overwhelmingly popular, but he takes his political hits. Last year we had pension reform. Pension reform anywhere in the world is unpopular. I don't care where. And he, as president, he could have kicked the can down the road and put it off to his successor. But he said, no, it needs to be done. And his public opinion numbers took a hit. Now they've basically drifted right back up. But he showed leadership. Not too many leaders in the West show leadership. They are always kicking the can down the road.
What's the one thing you would say to Americans watching this who have no idea what Russia is, that, like, what's the one thing you would want to leave them with, like, an impression or...
Russia is a conservative country. They believe in family after the family was decimated in the 1990s by American-inspired economic reforms that was chaotic. It was the shock therapy. The therapy was given to people that thieved this country, destroyed this country, stole from it, and then the people got the shock. And they're recovering from that. They're recovering from 70 years of communism, which was very destructive to the family, to faith, to culture, to Russian civilization. And since then, they've been recovering. And they're more and more confident. They don't look to the West anymore as this, shining light on the hill. Certainly not when it comes to democracy. You want to criticize Russia? Well, what about Florida in 2000? What about Bernie Sanders in 2016? People that are aware of politics here know exactly what they can say in return. They don't believe the nonsense that's spoken about on the cable stations and in the Beltway. They don't care. They have built a lot, and they're building more. I've lived here for 21 years, and I see 21 years of progress. I don't see that when I travel to the West.